Yeah, it's going to be cool. The problem is that you guys can use any camera that you want. You can use your digital camera, you can use any kind of camera that you have. You're going to have to take a picture of something. Now, I want it to be unique to you, right? Like, don't go and get a picture off the internet. You actually have to take a picture. Because I want you're going to actually try to color correct each one of your devices, or learn about the color that's going on in each one of your devices, so that you can speak about it, you can articulate it in probably a couple paragraphs in the assignment when I talk about this. Because what happens is it gets down to numbers. When you're in a light-based system, it's all about the numbers. You can care less how it looks. I mean, it looks good is good, right? But when you go to print it, how do you know your numbers are going to be right? And we do this by measuring. You can measure a file. You can measure, like, you know, what's going on. The other thing I forgot about, Josh, is that we're going to have to go to the lab. So we're going to hit pause. We'll hit pause a little bit.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to show you how to measure stuff on a computer. Don't worry if you've never used Photoshop before. It's okay. I'll show you how to do it. What I'm going to show you is super simple. Okay. So these are our two color spaces. This one's got a lot of information. This one has a great potential, right? Because you actually have a physical pigment. Here you're dealing with light. So those of you who looked at Terrell, what did you think? It's just light. He plays with light. He projects light, and it's beautiful. And you can play lots of tricks with light. You can shine him in a corner and do weird things. Paul Chan, who's a contemporary, he projects light. So light can actually be an artistic medium all by its own. We know that filmmakers do it, but then, right, it's ephemeral. It goes. And then you turn off the light, it goes away. Right? It's done. So it is its own art form working with light. Now I want you to realize that, and this is what this next assignment is about, is when you're using light, do you know what you're doing? Are you paying attention to when you're using light? And then how do you make it match? Or how do you make it correct for a pigment-based system? So you have your workflow down. Sound like a plan? Mm-hmm. So now I want to spend the rest of the time showing you how this is done. So if Josh can hit pause, then we have to go to the...
In that blue, how much black do you think is in that magenta? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Like, how much black is in that white? Right there's a ton of black in that white. You see that?
But if you printed that out, it would print darker than this. If we did a screen capture, right, of this thing...
Can we do that?
Yeah. And we print it on the phaser, it's going to print darker, I guarantee it. Now, all printers have what they call profiles that try to correct for this. They have algorithms that try to correct for it. That's why sometimes it looks right. But sometimes you might be picking colors that are out of gamut, that are way too dark, you just don't know it. And so what this is going to teach you is how to maintain like an eye on what's going on. Actually start from scratch. Can you build your file? Can you build your file so that it's not too dark from the get-go? Right? Because if you know that the printer is going to print too light or print too dark, like you can correct by starting by thinking about it before you start. Man, this thing's seriously thinking. So let me describe the assignment while this is thinking. You need to take a picture with a camera. It could be off of your phone, it could be a camera, it could be whatever. You can scan something in. I'll count the scanner as a camera. But it has to be something unique to you, something that you like, that you can get behind, because you're going to be messing with it for a while. All right? And you're going to have to bring that thing into Photoshop. And if you don't know Photoshop, don't sweat it. I'm going to be showing you tonight. And then you have to come into Photoshop, and you're going to print it to the phaser or an inkjet printer at home. And then you're going to analyze it. And you're going to say, now you guys can analyze it. You can say it's too much magenta, too much yellow, too much cyan, right? Too much blue, too much yellow, too much red, too much green. And you could say too much black. You guys know that from your color matching assignment. Right? Some of you had troubles with the pigment, but you still could see, it's kind of off. And you knew why. Some of you in your descriptions knew why you're off. Right? So this is what you're going to have to use. You're going to have to use your skills of reasoning and logic based on your assignments that you've just been doing. Seriously. Okay, here we go. It's like, all right, where's Photoshop? There it is. You can do CS6, it doesn't matter. Photoshop 1 will do this too, if you get your hands on it. I started with Photoshop 2. Then when 3 came out, it was like, wow. All right. All right, let me just go get a picture since I don't have a picture. Well, you know what? I got a picture. Let's see. Can I just email it to myself? Well, let's take a picture of you guys. Come on. I'll get me in there too. Well, let's see, where
I
are you?
think that's
Get
all
in
you're
there,
gonna
come on,
get.
get in, come on, get in there. Get in there. Whoops, whoops. There you go. Alright. Well, email that to me. Right? Like, what do you think? Is it too dark already? What's going on with this thing? Bless you. Alright. We'll go on the internets. Of course, change my password. So, no. Cancel. This is how fact that meeting. I already went to that. Alright. There it is. Let's try it here.
Perfect picture.
It's the perfect picture, right? So then we're gonna. So those of you who have never used Photoshop, believe it or not, you just can drag your photo here to the desktop and drag it right into Photoshop. Don't worry, we'll do this a couple times. Wow, that looks so much different than on there. Pass this around.
Oh yeah.
What? See how each system's going to be different? Do you know? This is what you
That
have
one's
to
so
pay
much
attention
warmer.
to. Look at what is different.
It's yellow. It's a lot more yellow.
This is more yellow. What's that? It's more corrected somehow, right? Like Apple's doing
Like
some
your
magic.
shirt is way more blue green, and that one is way more green.
Yeah, and here it's a little off, right? With the light. It's a little washed out too. But that my face is really red. Is my face really that red?
No.
No.
Shanda is probably the most color corrected thing in here. Let's see your shirt. That's got some purple in it. That right? Like who's the most color correct in this picture? Right? That wall. Now I didn't take the best picture. That wall is washed out. It's beige, right? So some things it's about the quality of the photograph. But how do we correct this so that it's close enough, right? So let's print this thing. If you go to File, go to Print, and you can do this in any printer, guys. You can do this at home. You can do this here. I don't care where you do it. That's all right. We'll just crop it. We'll just look at the color. So this seems more accurate, doesn't it? Why is that? Why does this seem more accurate to the color that's in this room, that's on my shirt? This is still a little blue. That's really red. Really bizarre, isn't it? So what do you get? What's your guess? What's the phaser's predominant color going to be?
Gray.
Gray?
It's gonna make it look
I'm going to print it again because I know that crop.
Everything I printed the other day turned out so gray. It made me
The
so
problem with the
sad.
phaser is that it's unpredictable. So I feel like it
There you
throws
go.
whatever color it wants.
There you go.
All right, you'll see that thing,
So
Jen.
I was doing project engineer, and I got like those are things
All right,
that
so-
one was pink and one was orange.
Creepy.
Yeah.
So what do we got here? That one's super. Is it heavy on? You see the black in this? To pass that around, you guys
See the
pass it around.
gray? So much gray.
So much gray. We'll put this here. Look. Look at that. Wow. How do we fix this? So, the phaser seems to be heavy on the what? On the black. It does seem to be heavy. I give it away because printers are heavy on the black. And that's not because the printer's heavy on the black. That's because that file has more black in it than you think.
And with the piece of computer, it's so black.
How are we gonna fix this?
Oh,
So
how did you get
I don't know.
Oh.
He printed two.
I printed two.
not big enough?
So if you guys go to Window here, when you're in Photoshop and you go to Info's gonna be your thing. It's gonna give you the information that
How
you
did you
need.
get there again?
You go to Window. Don't worry, I'll go through this couple times. Go to Window and you go to Info. So how in the world are we going to correct this nastiness? Yeah, I'm really red in this and I'm really black. I'm not that dark, right? And in this system, I'm really red and I'm pretty dark. If you look here. So
Right.
something's picking up a lot of black.
Is your iPhone brightness up all the way?
I don't know. Which one do you like about? Which one do you, okay, here's the question. The problem is, which one do you want to match to? Here's the thing. Here's the chicken and the egg problem now. We've just created a new problem. Which one do you want to match? Do you want to change your iPhone to look like this? Do you want to change your iPhone to look like this, Shanda?
Yeah.
Right? What if you could technically color match everything. So this is what I want to match. So I want to make everything in my other systems look like this. Why not? You could work it backwards. I'm not saying that that's the one we want, but that is the nicer picture because of the stupid screen and because of the software or whatever is going on in there. But if you bring it into Photoshop, all right, if we measure it, if we put it right here on this really red spot right here, look over here, guys. This is CMYK and this is RGB. It has 110 values of red. Huh, that's a lot. 0 is white. It has 51 of green and 47 of blue. Now if you look over here, this is the printer. This is how the printer thinks. The printer thinks in CMYK. Those are pigments, this is light. So you have two systems. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
This is CMYK. This file's RGB, and so it's giving us both values. 37 cyan, 80% magenta. No wonder that thing's so red. Right? It has 73% yellow. You saw yellow right away. And it has 42% black. Just right where I put it.
Wow.
Where
Now-
did you click to make that thing go?
You go to Window, and you go to Info.
Okay, I was just saying.
No, I'll do it as many times as you guys
I was
want.
loving
Window
it.
and over. Now watch, so what if we go to this lighter spot right here? We have 11% cyan, 41% magenta, still 41% yellow, and 0% black in that spot right there. In that hot spot. If we go to Shanda's hair, right here, we have 25% cyan, 37% magenta. I mean, it's hard to tell there's not much there, right? 71% yellow and 1% black. So you have to make some decisions. Like, do you see where this is going to get a little complicated? How do you make some general decisions? You can't go around and fix each spot. I mean, you can. That's what some people do. But I'm asking you to I don't want you to do that because that would take too much time and that's not really cost effective. What I want you to do is to know how to generally change things so that you can get relatively close. So what would you guys say? We think it's red, a lot of red, right? And we think it's a lot more yellow than it should have, and a lot more black than it has. So what about the cyan? Is the cyan heavy? Maybe a little bit? Well, there's a couple ways you can change these things. All right, now this is where you got to take good notes here. If you go up here to image, and you go to adjustments. All right, there we go. Sorry. And you go to curves. Right here, curves. This, and when you open up curves, look, it's in RGB. If we go into the RGBs and we back off on the red and we back off on the green, which has the yellow in it, we could see what we got. All right, should we try that?
Yeah.
All right, so don't worry, we're going to do this a couple times. Hit OK. Oops. It's Apple Command M if you want to. So here's the thing. Let's just go to red and click on red. And let's see how if I push it this way, I make it really red. That's plus. If I bring it down, it's minus. Now I can come over here and I can measure it. And Busy now has 20% magenta. Or, it didn't change it. No, that's Holly, sorry. Let's see. Let's go back to my head. Let's go back to where were we? Right here? So what was it before? It's 80% magenta. It was 80% magenta, now it's at 70. Do you see that? It was 16, well, it changes everything a little bit. So we're gonna hit OK. Now we're gonna go to curves again. And we're gonna go to the green. And we're gonna back off, we're gonna go forward on it maybe. Or which way should we go? I think we gotta go this way. Too much. You can do it just by the numbers too. Yeah, but watch this. We're gonna mess with it. So we're gonna hit OK. And now we're gonna go to blue, because the blue is gonna be the dark.
Probably just changed from the drop down.
There you go. You kinda have to, let's go like right